Look at this modern metropolis of glass and steel. Many assume this level of rapid development required an ocean of unlimited oil. This chart compares the oil reserves across the United Arab Emirates. Neighbors like Abu Dhabi hold the vast majority of the region's wealth, while Dubai's reserves sit down here. For generations, the local economy relied on the sea, with communities making their living through maritime trade and diving for natural pearls. In the early 20th century, that foundation collapsed. The global depression wiped out international demand, while the invention of Japanese cultured pearls permanently depressed prices. This map shows the city's only remaining natural asset. It sits directly on the coastline, intersecting the trade routes between Europe, Asia, and Africa. To survive, the leadership focused on making that geography useful to the rest of the world. Sheikh Rashid bin Zayed Al Maktoum spent the city's limited early oil revenue immediately on infrastructure, gambling on a future that hadn't arrived yet. Investing in massive public works is risky because the capital is committed long before the demand for the service exists. A highway is useless without trucks, and a port is a waste of concrete if ships refuse to dock there. In 1959, he ordered the construction of an airport in the middle of the desert. When it opened a year later, it featured a small terminal and a runway made of compacted sand. By laying down that runway, the government was attempting to manufacture a reason for international flights to stop in their city on the way to other destinations. Airplanes were a start, but global trade moves on water. Handling millions of tons of international cargo requires deep harbors and specialized logistics to accommodate massive shipping vessels. In the late 1970s, construction finished on Jebel Ali Port. It was an enormous artificial harbor carved out of the coastline, built miles away from the existing city limits. Next to the port, they established the Jebel Ali Free Zone, or JAFZA. It offered international companies a place to set up operations, store inventory, and export goods without having to navigate local bureaucracy. A product arrives on a ship, is unloaded into a tax-free warehouse, and moved by truck to a cargo plane. By linking sea and air, the city became a high-speed transit hub between Asian manufacturers, African markets, and European consumers. The city functions as a logistical middleman, earning a cut of the global supply chain by facilitating movement rather than manufacturing the goods themselves. To move people as efficiently as goods, the government launched Emirates Airline in 1985. The airline leveraged the city's geography to capture passengers between continents. With millions of transit passengers flowing through the new terminals, the city began building reasons for them to leave the airport and stay. They designed hotels and skyscrapers as global advertisements. Structures like the Burj Al Arab commanded international attention, bringing a steady stream of luxury tourists. When they ran out of prime beachfront real estate to sell, they built artificial islands out into the Gulf. This created miles of new waterfront properties to attract wealthy foreign investors and international resort chains. The pieces began feeding each other. The airport accommodated the airlines brought the tourists, the landmarks captured their attention, and those visitors generated the demand for a massive real estate sector. Constructing a metropolis at that speed required an enormous amount of physical labor. The skyline was built by millions of expatriate workers, creating complex debates around labor conditions, wages, and systemic inequality. The financial structure behind those skyscrapers also carried intense pressure. Much of the rapid development was financed by taking on massive amounts of debt. When the global financial crisis hit in 2008, international credit dried up. Property prices crashed, construction stalled, and the city relied on a massive financial intervention from Abu Dhabi to stabilize its economy. An economy engineered on momentum is highly vulnerable. When international investors stop pouring money in, the entire machine risks grinding to a halt. Today, the sectors driving Dubai's wealth are logistics, real estate, technology, and financial services. Oil is a small fraction of the equation. The city engineered itself into a highly recognizable global brand. Companies establish regional headquarters there because the name signals access to capital and international markets. This visualization shows the actual sequence of events. Early oil revenue was aggressively converted into infrastructure, which enabled global trade, which funded tourism, which attracted international business. The leaders recognized their natural resources were finite. They converted a temporary fuel source into a permanent, self-sustaining economic engine based entirely on geography. Because this model relies on attracting outside capital and foreign talent, standing still means falling behind. The city has to constantly offer a new reason to visit, invest, or move there. A moment of wonder. The design of the economy remains the city's most complex undertaking, a perpetual cycle of construction that never reaches a final state.